don't know if they'll kill me in 2026. I don't know what they're cooking up for me, what they have in store for me. But in 2026, that is the year where they're going to try to strike at the head, the sheep scatter, and they're going to try to corral them back into slavery incorporated with some kind of Groyper veneer. That's going to be the playbook. You can take that to the bank. They're already playing it. They've already been playing it. And that was the 1-2 punch of Tucker and Piers Morgan. Bring me onto the show, making of a murderer. Let's get a glimpse into the twisted mind of Nick Fuentes and show everybody how evil he is and how anyone could follow him. Then bring him on Piers Morgan to reveal the real Nick Fuentes that loves Hitler and this, that, and the other. That's the MO. In the end, where all of this is headed is JD Vance for president in 2028. That is the lead which they have buried. As quickly as they got JD Vance in the vice presidency nomination last year, they want to get him in the Oval Office in 2028. They want to make him the president. Why? Who knows? But there are powerful, powerful forces in Silicon Valley, billionaires, the GOP, all the king's men that want to make JD Vance the president. And I have identified myself very early on as an opponent of JD Vance. And for that, they want to bury me. For that, they want to kill me. Because I'm telling a lot of young men that Vance is going to need in the election, I'm telling a lot of young men, do not trust this guy. Because this guy is a creep. We don't know who he is. We don't know what his real name is. We don't know what his real job is. We don't know who he owes, who blackmailed him, who he works for. We just don't know anything about this guy. And it's weird. It's weird. He's weird. His family's weird. It's weird that they're all promoting him. Something is not right here. And that much is obvious. Everybody with eyes can see that something is off about that. And that's the biggest thing. And I believe it when I say this, that if I were going out on the show every night and saying, let's all be good team players and let's all vote for JD Vance in 28, they would tolerate me. Trust me when I tell you that if I were going out every day on the show and saying, let's all be good little Republicans and let's dutifully vote for JD Vance, you know they would tolerate me. They would tolerate my antics. They would tolerate my extremism. They would tolerate all of it. They would bring me in under their wing as a junior partner. They would pat me on the head. They would give me opportunities if I was willing to play ball, if I was willing to horse trade, if I was willing to say, vote for JD. Everybody, we got to be all in. But they are clearing the runway. They have created a media ecosystem using comedians, using podcasts, using conventions, using things like Turning Point. They have created a runway, and they have cleared the runway for Vance to be unopposed in 28, to raise $1 billion, and then to be the next president, to inherit all the machinery that Trump created, all this stuff that Trump has done with the executive branch, all the rules Trump has broken. They want JD Vance to inherit that.
Yeah, I feel like that much is obvious. And this is the thing. People that still support Trump, there's no way I could take them seriously. Everything he said he was going to do, he did not do. This is where, I agree with Nick 100% because he said no new wars. That's all we got. Israel's wars. Then he said mass deportation. What did we get? He does this thing where he just makes a show out of it, does 300,000 people, and he doesn't really get rid of any. That's nothing compared to how many people are coming in, so it's ultimately ineffective. Even the shit that's going on with the Somalis right now. Do you guys seriously think Somalis with the average IQ of 68 are smart enough to have done this by themselves? They didn't. They're literally just a piece on a board. I think the government knows that everything's about to fall apart. It feels at least like the government almost consents that this great awakening, that everything's about to collapse, and it feels like everyone's just grabbing as much as they can get. That's really what it feels like. Like this Somali thing, do you seriously think they're not just laundering through them? They're just scapegoats. It's basically a bunch of politicians wearing Somali masks. They bring the Somalis in and then they pay them to be the scapegoats, and they're too dumb to even realize what's going on. They could just say, hey, we're going to let you scam and bring in tons and tons of money, but really they're just filtering that shit right back to themselves. Because there's literally no way you're going to convince me that Somalis with the average IQ of 60 fucking 8 are smart enough to just skate with that much fraud going on under the FBI's nose. Like, come on. But yeah, they're definitely prepping us with this Vance thing. You can really tell. And honestly, I agree with Nick. I think give us something or nah. Like, they haven't earned our vote with Trump at all. There's like not even a little bit. It's just been Israel first. So it's like we need to figure that out. And that's the thing. They're never going to agree to that. They're never not going to be Israel first until we do something about it. And I mean exactly what you think I mean when I say do something about it. But I am worried for Nick, I'm not going to lie. I've been saying this a lot in my personal life to people I know. I feel like it's just going to be like the boiling point's already there. I have the white dormancy theory that I talk about. But I feel like we're just in a pressure cooker right now. And there's going to be one thing, like probably something stupid that really seems stupid, but it was a tipping point to all this animosity and rage that we do have built up as a society. And I think something like assassinating Nick would possibly tip that scale. I'm saying it right now. It's January 1st, 2026. I think Nick's assassination would be a little bit different than Charlie's. I think you'd see a lot more outrage. And I mean, like, a fucking lot more. You know, like, you can assassinate Charlie Kirk and create a bunch of Charlie Kirks, but you're really, you know, Charlie was a peaceful speaker. Nick is too, but I don't know about the Groypers and Gen Z, to be honest with you. Honestly, I have high hopes for them and us as a whole. I really do. I think we're going to be fine. You'd have to ignore all of human history to think that at some point we're not going to snap and take this all back. It's going to happen. It's not if, it's when. And when is going to be they push it just a little too far, and we're feeling a shitload of that right now. So don't be surprised if it's soon.
The next step is they're going to try to gaslight us into thinking that this has everything to do with things other than what I'm describing. This is about economics. This is about the political left. This is about everything other than what it's really about. For example, I saw Tucker Carlson interview Matt Walsh, and they're talking about the great replacement, that non-white people are replacing white people everywhere where we used to reside. And Tucker said, I'm not even saying it's a bad thing, but they're telling us that this is happening and they're denying that it's real. He says, I'm not even saying it's a bad thing. He repeatedly and consistently says, identity politics is evil. And the great replacement has nothing to do with racial demographics. It has to do with voting rights. Well, here's a statistic for you. Since 2012, 50% of this country's newborns have been white and 50% have been non-white. So in the census, it will tell you that the country is 57% white, 43% non-white. But if you look at the newborns, if you look at where the arrow is pointing, for the last 13 years, the newborns have been 50-50. For the younger generations, it is 50-50. For Gen Z, for Gen Alpha, this is our country. And when we are the old people, when the boomers and then the Gen Xers die off, and it's millennials, Zoomers, Gen Alpha, Gen Beta, it's going to be even less white than that. The older generations will be 50-50. The younger generations will be even less. And every successive generation, less white after that. And that is what every city, every town, whether it's a small town or a medium-sized city or the biggest cities, that's what every single polity in the country will look like.
We cannot let that happen. This is the thing I disagree with when it comes to Nick and other influencers when they talk about this, is like, you should have a family. You should have white children. I have 3 white children by 3 different white women, and everything's fine. No child support, nothing. And they have my lady, who is their stepmom, and it all works perfectly fine. I don't know, it just bothers me when Nick and other people that don't have white children talk about how we need more white children. It's like, do your part. That's our duty. That's our responsibility. I have 3. I'm about to have fucking 10 if I can. But yeah, other than that, everything he's saying here is 100% true.
Iran, and in terms of immigration, we filled the H-1B cap, we doubled the number of Chinese students, and we don't have mass deportations. So maybe it would have been a good thing if we forced Trump's feet to the fire on those issues. Maybe it would have been a good thing if we demanded a commitment back then when he needed our vote, not now when he needs nothing from us.
I keep saying that we're going to see Trump's true colors in these next 3 years because he can't run again. So far, I feel like we are. It's just Israel first. I don't know. I think what Ari Schaefer, if that's how you pronounce his name, I think what he said about how politics change through violence, that like that's true. I really believe fully what he said there. And I don't see another way that it's going to change at all.
For that, I was called a shill, plant, a fed. They said I made a deal with the FBI. To avoid prosecution, I said that I would not get Trump elected. Now you see that I was right. And the reason I bring this up is because just as quickly as Trump has crashed and burned, they want us to forget about it and already get ready for the next one.
Yeah, he goes on and just, but I completely agree with him. I mean, that's obviously what they're doing. They're doing something similar like that with Erica Kirk, and I'll do a separate video on Erica Kirk because that's just... But no, yeah, I think Nick's right, and I think I would hope that he buffs his security up a little bit because to me, he's the JFK of our generation, if not better, I think, truly. So, I think with the rise and the noticing that's happening and all that, I think he's going to force their hand. Something really good's about to happen, or something really bad is probably about to happen, but I think it's up to us to change it. I really do. I think whatever happens next in our American history or in our history on Earth as humans, I think will be greatly dependent on what we do, like ourselves, which is kind of wild. But yeah, I'll see y'all next time.